Ba-da-da,
muting on my screen just to see like, wait, what's going on here?
Bring. We just wanted to have a little, trap mix to come into the start of the Blue Review. It's all right. It's all good.
Welcome everybody to, I don't know if this is the season debut of Blue Review. We had kind of a special one-off episode a couple of weeks ago, but whatever. It is the Blue Review presented by LAX. I'm Marcus Grant. That is Greg Bergman. And live from Arizona, down in the Cactus League, there is one and only Jeff Spiegel. Fellas, welcome to the 2026 season, I guess, officially.
It's exciting. It's exciting. Dodger baseball is back. The Blue Review is back. I went on with Jeff on Dodger Heads last night and was just telling him, I look at the screen and I'm watching baseball at like 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's great. I'm watching baseball again. I know it means absolutely nothing. None of these things means anything for like standings or really where they're going to go this season. They could get blown up or could have a pitch magnificently, and it means nothing either way, but it's still really nice to just watch baseball again.
I agree. Down here in Arizona, it's hot. It's like, man, the summer is coming. It's like 92 degrees down here.
I mean, you talk about it not mattering. Like, it mattered when they were undefeated, when they won their first 6 games. I'm like, this absolutely matters. Now they've lost the field. It's like, yeah, whatever. Doesn't mean anything. It's not a big deal. So, I mean, obviously, you're down there, Jeff. I'm curious what, the vibes are, especially I think around like the fans and stuff, right? Last year at this time, they were coming off of the 2024 championship. There were even higher expectations because of the guys this team had brought in. Now, with back-to-back championships under the belt and the designation, the accusation that they're ruining baseball, I mean, everybody wants to win another World Series, but like, is there the anxiety level? I mean, what's the feeling down there in Arizona right now?
It's funny because Katie Wu, the Athletic, hopped on with us, and she just describes this as the most boring spring training ever. Like, there's just nothing really happening that's all that exciting with the Dodgers right now. And so I think people are just enjoying the ride. I mean, obviously, I think everybody's expecting a World Series, but now that you have 2, it feels like there's actually a little bit less pressure, a little bit less anxiety, because they did struggle through the regular season and then make a run in October. And so if they can do that again, then people don't have to worry about March and April and May.
I mean, it's definitely weird. Fortunate as fans to essentially be waiting for October. I mean, that's the whole goal, that we get to kind of just enjoy how things go from now until then. Greg, you were talking before the show that you and Jeff were talking about Mookie Betts' comments recently that he feels great. There's talk that maybe he can get back to sort of being that MVP caliber player he was last year. Obviously, last season being a wash in terms of his statistics and everything. But are we buying this, or is this just, is this best shape of his life sort of content that we're talking about with Mookie?
You buy it because it's Mookie Betts, because he is one of the most athletically gifted humans in the world. He can do basically anything. So if anybody's going to just turn around and fix their season from the year prior, yeah, Mookie Betts is going to be that dude. But I mean, it's still spring training, so like everybody is always at the highest peak of like, oh, I feel great. I took a couple months off. I wasn't doing much. I feel wonderful. I changed my whole mindset. I get in the cage, and when I get in the cage, I feel great again. I've had no bad swings, 0 bad swings. Every swing has been perfect. Like, that's what you get when it comes right into it. He's going to struggle at times, but if somebody's going to fix it, it's going to be him. And Jeff came up with actually a really interesting stat that I heard that he told me yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, over the last 210 plate appearances last season, Mookie had an 893 OPS and a 147 weighted runs created plus. So if he does bounce back, it won't be completely out of nowhere. He was so bad for the first 2/3 of last season, but the last third, he was back to better than 2024 levels for Mookie Betts. So I don't even think he has to do that. 893 with a 147. I think if he's in the 830 to 850 range, OPS wise, I think people are going to be happy. And that's kind of what I would expect. I don't think a true MVP race is realistic for Mookie, but I still think he can be an all-star. I still think he can be one of the best players in Major League Baseball.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that's the hope, right? Any thought, Jeff, to, now that, it's been announced, I guess he's going to hit third all year long. Does this help or hurt? I mean, I guess you're surrounded by talent, so that's not a bad thing. But do you expect any major, differences with this spot in the lineup?
Not really, because I think he's still going to have an incredible player in front of him and is still going to have an incredible player behind him. Maybe the possibility of having more guys on base, they feel like it's going to take some pressure off or simplify his approach. Because if you're hitting first, sort of the possibilities are endless. But if you come up with a runner on second and one out or two guys on, then your approach probably changes. And it's like, all right, let's put a line drive somewhere, which might be what they want. So I think it might change a tiny bit, but ultimately, I think good players hitting in between one another, and there wouldn't be that much of a difference.
I mean, if he's going to get MVP level, he's going to have to fight off Shohei, right? Like if Shohei going into the season, Shohei is the number one option for the MVP again, because just based off the fact that if he has a regular Shohei year on the mound and at the plate, nothing absolutely crazy on either end, he's probably still going to win the MVP. So Mookie, if he's going to be in that MVP race, he's going to have to do something pretty amazing in that three spot that you're talking about, Marcus. Like he's going to have to come out and he's going to have to get like 145 RBIs, and he's going to have to hit. I don't think the home runs really will matter as much, but he's going to have, as long as the numbers are up, the on base is up, the slug is up, and he's driving in guys. That's how he has to do it. So MVP level versus actually winning MVP, I think, are two very different things.
I think getting to your point though, Jeff, about what he did that last couple hundred at bats last year. I mean, it really did feel like when he just said, F it, my season's over statistically. It did just sort of lift the weight off of him. That honestly, I do think losing that weight earlier in the season, being sick, I think obviously impacted him dramatically. Mookie Betts is not the largest man, so to lose a good chunk of weight early in the year, I think is certainly going to impact him. But once he sort of realized that, I'm just going to go out and play, essentially, he looked more like the Mookie Betts we had become used to seeing in this lineup. So you're down there, you're watching the games. Anything that has jumped out at you? I mean, I know they're just kind of getting a lot of guys work, but anything in particular that you've really kind of caught on to when you've been there?
I think the most interesting thing is watching the young pitchers that are sort of fighting for the back of the rotation. We joked that coming into the spring, you kind of assumed, okay, the top four, Glasnow, Yamamoto, Snell, and Ohtani, those guys are going to be in there. Emmett Sheehan's going to be in there. And then you got a bunch of young guys fighting for the sixth spot. Robleski, River Ryan, Gavin Stone, Roki Sasaki. Well, Snell's not going to be ready for opening day. Shohei Ohtani's kind of a question mark what his status will be when he comes back from the WBC, since he won't be able to pitch while he's over there, at least not like face in games. And yet, so then there's all these open spots available. But I think those guys have, for the most part, performed really well. Sheehan's been sick, so he's expected to make his debut some point this week. But Robleski looked good. Gavin Stone looked good. River Ryan looked good. Roki Sasaki, not necessarily looking good. But I think those four, watching the four of them and seeing what the Dodgers decide to do, it's going to be interesting. And I think there's a lot of encouragement. Gavin Stone and River Ryan both coming back off injuries. Again, one appearance apiece so far, but really, really impressive, kind of exactly what you want to see type performances.
I feel like you talk about all those names and obviously not enough spots in the starting rotation. Even if they go six-man, there's still some multiple guys who are going to be left out. But this feels, Greg, like, hey, just stay sharp, because we're going to see these guys anyway. The way the seasons have gone, the way the Dodgers sort of churn through guys, if you're a River Ryan, if you're a Gavin Stone, and you're not with the big club out of spring training, I suspect we are going to see all of these names probably cycle through it at some point during the season. They're all going to get starts, right?
No, yeah, everybody's going to get starts. Everyone's going to take time on the AL. You will see River Ryan, you will see Gavin Stone, you will see Justin Robleski, you will see Emmett Sheehan. You'll see all the dudes that you're thinking that you want to see in the pitching staff. You'll see them at some point. Some maybe earlier than others, but you want to see the ones that really stand out are the ones that you want to kind of save their arms for the end, towards the end of the season. Yeah, because you're going to have everybody kind of all getting healthy hopefully around the same time this year. We're going to have Yamamoto, Snell, Glasnow, Sheehan, Roki. I want to go back to Roki in a second, because he said he didn't think Roki looked good. But I think like you're going to see all these guys at some point in the season. If it's not right away, it's definitely will come up, because at some point, and Shohei's going to go. Like, they're going to go on the IL, or they're going to stop pitching for a bit. You're going to go 6-man rotation. Everyone's going to get their time. I want to go back to Roki for a second. So he didn't look. No, of course, no. He didn't look great, and I should probably turn that off. I have to learn that. He didn't look great, but he did strike out. He did end up striking out the side in his one inning that he did throw, and then did he go more than one inning?
He struck out the last two in the first inning and got the first strikeout.
That's right. Yeah. So he got 3 strikeouts, and so he kind of fixed it a little bit. But he also is going through a portion where he's coming in trying to add a third pitch to his arsenal. And when he's trying to do that, he's trying to add either a cutter or a gyro sinker or whatever the hell he's calling it. The fact is he's trying to add a third pitch to keep guys off balance. And when you're doing that, you're focusing a lot on that third pitch to try and get it, try to learn the placement of it, try to find the spots for it. And then you have the other pitches that you still have your fastball and your splitter. So you just have to like keep those up, but at the same time, be able to bring in that other pitch and make sure it gets hit, does not get hit. I think Nolan Arenado came out and just smacked around his first cutter. So that, it's something that he's going to be working things out, and that's what spring training is for. So I wouldn't say he doesn't look good. I would just say he's still tinkering and working on things, in my opinion.
My concern is, we talked before and said, Anthony Witrata was on with me. It's like, hey, what are we looking for? Like, what do we want to see from Roki in this start? Put the box score aside. And one of the biggest ones was command of the fastball. And does that pitch show signs of life as far as being a swing and miss type pitch? The command was really bad. He threw more balls than strikes. He was expected to get through 2 innings. He got through 4 outs. And the fastball got absolutely obliterated to begin this start. Like, there were, 3 hits. 2 of them were over 105 miles an hour. He gives up the 3 runs. The flip side is he did get 2 strikeouts on the fastball to end the first inning. So I don't think it was good, but I do think there were some signs of positivity there with Roki. It was still 2 walks. It was still loud contact. He didn't seem to have command. And I think ultimately everybody's talking about the the third pitch. I think ultimately it's the fastball, because before you can have a third pitch, you have to have a second pitch. And the splitter is nasty, but the fastball has graded out everywhere you look as not a good pitch. And so I actually think the fastball is the key, unless he can find 2 other pitches besides the splitter. Maybe it's a sinker, maybe it's a cutter. But I think the fastball, can he command it down? That's what Dave Roberts talked about yesterday. Don't leave it up, because guys will kill it if it's up. Can you command it down, and can you actually get that to be a pitch that players have to take seriously and that they can't hit? That's what I think I'm keeping an eye on for the next few weeks.
Does this make it more likely he starts the year in OKC then, while he kind of figures this out?
See, that's what I would have guessed, just because at the time it was like all these guys fighting for one spot. And I'm like, okay, I feel like Wroblewski or Stone or Ryan, somebody is going to have a really good spring and beat Roki out. But now they have so many spots open in the rotation. They've already said that Roki's one of the few guys they expect to be fully built up by the time the regular season starts. So I would expect Roki to be in the rotation on opening day, barring a really disastrous next couple of weeks. I think he's going to be in the rotation. But then once guys start coming back, who's the first person to get sent back down to AAA or moved into the bullpen? That's where I think it could get interesting.
So the thing about that too, like I just think with Roki, if he didn't show resilience last year, if he didn't have such an awful start to the season and then have to go down to AAA and be kind of just working out stuff for like 3-4 months of time, and bye Jeff, 3-4 months of time, then I thought and never made it back, I would have been like, oh yeah, this is going to be a rough year for Roki. But the fact of the matter was that he actually he went down, he worked on something, and he became a dominant. I mean, pretty close to as dominant as a closer that you could possibly get. I know that doesn't translate fully over to being a starter versus a bullpen guy, but the fact is he did show that he can work on things, figure it out, and come back crazy strong to the point where if without Roki Sasaki, we're not getting through the games against Philly. We're not getting through in the playoffs. So I really truly believe that he could be somebody that will get through. That was the first start of his spring of his spring. Let's see what he does through the rest of it. But I think he's a guy that is learning. He wants to learn how to get better at this game. He wants to add that third pitch so he's not so. So it's either fastball or splitter, and you can keep guys off bounce a little bit more. I'm really excited to see what Roki does. Now that doesn't mean also that he's going to be amazing. I don't think he's going to be Cy Young caliber, but I think he's still going to be good.
I do think, with that third pitch, right, as he's developing it, and I think kind of to your point, it needs to be good enough. I don't think it has to be great off the bat. Just giving hitters one extra thing to think about, I think, makes all the difference with him. And if he can continue to develop and then suddenly it becomes, potentially a pitch he can actually get outs with, as opposed to just keeping guys off balance with, and I think that takes him to a whole different level. Again, the good news is they have enough arms to sort of let him cook a little bit and figure things out before they have to put him in any real high leverage situations. So that'll be interesting. Speaking of high leverage and things that have been said a lot this offseason, the Tanner Scott revival, are we believing that it's really on deck? Do we believe, Jeff, that this is really a thing this year?
First outing of the spring was really impressive. He's kind of a funny interview. If you go watch some of the stuff that he's done, I think we have one up, Dodger Blue 1958. Like, him and Mookie are very similar. They're both like not emotional, very matter of fact, short answers. And he's basically like, yeah, I just have to flush last year, pretend like it never happened, come back. And the key pitch, Dave Roberts has said, is the slider. The slider looked good in the first outing. So I just think reliever volatility, we usually talk about it in a bad way. Let's talk about it in a good way. We had a reliever who had a terrible season last year. Let's get the reliever volatility where he bounces back. Tanner Scott was one of the best pitchers of baseball on the relief side for multiple years before the Dodgers signed him. So I think if you had to choose between he's going to be as bad as last year or he's going to be very good would be the more likely answer. And we'll see, like, not being the closer, does that help him? Does it actually hurt him? Does it take pressure off of him? Does it make him feel like he's not as good as he used to be? Like, these are interesting things, but I'm buying Tanner Scott stock this spring.
I can't imagine he's as bad as last year. Last year felt like rock bottom for Tanner Scott. But it does bring an interesting question, Greg, about like how those late innings go, right? I mean, you bring in a guy like Edwin Diaz, presumably to give him the ninth, but they're hoping for Tanner Scott to bounce back. I've seen a lot of positive things about Blake Trinan. At some point, Evan Phillips will be back. I mean, the seventh, eighth innings, I guess, and occasionally the ninth, it seemed like they're very much up for grabs right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that are going to be up for a lot, going to have a shot at all that. I think Tanner Scott is going to have a bounce back year, but you're going to start seeing a bunch of guys and it's kind of be like a rotating cast of guys that are going to come in and out of there until they find the guys that you actually want. For sure Edwin Diaz is at the end. For sure Tanner Scott will find his space, and so will Blake Trinan. But after that, it's kind of up in the air. I know Kyle Hurt is a guy that Jeff is really, really high on, and they're saying that he is going to be in the bullpen. There was somebody else that they said is definitely in the bullpen. Who was that, Jeff?
Bobby Miller.
Yeah, well, yeah, Bobby. Uh-huh. See that? I don't trust that in the slightest. But I've seen.
We don't know which bullpen.
bullpen in AAA until he can figure it out. But yeah, there's guys on the 40-man rosters. The guy Ronan Kopp is on the roster. I don't know how well he's really looked this year so far, but at the same time, he's on the 40-man. So they're hoping that he's a guy that can be like Jack Dreyer. Jack Dreyer is still there. Ben Kasperius is still around. I know he hasn't pitched much, but Paul Gervais is a 6'10", like, dude that just throws gas. He's huge. So like if he can turn into something, that those middle relief innings is going to be very interesting, this way they want to go about it. And they tend to do it. They'll find somebody that's like, oh, that dude's legit. And oh yeah, don't forget, Alex Vesia came back and he has looked really, really good. Yes, I know that was my guy a couple of years ago. I love Vesia, especially coming off of what happened to him. I love it.
Well, when you didn't mention him, I was going to say I think Alex Vesia might be the most underrated relief pitcher in all of Major League Baseball, and it's partly because he's on the Dodgers. But in the last 2 years, among relief pitchers who have thrown 100 innings, Alex Vesia has the 6th best ERA in all of Major League Baseball.
Wow!
So, and if you go back since 2021, guys who have 200 or more innings pitched, he has the 11th best ERA. Like, he has been one of the 10 to 15-ish best relief pitchers in baseball over the last 4 or 5 years. And because of all the other names, nobody ever talks about him. But he's looked really good this spring. He's the best guy to watch in spring because he treats spring training games like Game 2 of the World Series. I mean, he drops off the mound, screaming, pumping his fist. Like, I love it from Vesia. And I think he's been awesome for like 4 straight years, and because of the crowded bullpen, I guess we don't talk about him all that much.
I do. I love the beard too. He's rocking that full beard this year. I hope he keeps it for a while. I think it's a good look. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how he sort of I say bounce back, but continues. But obviously, bouncing back from an incredible, just tragedy in the late last season, the off season. So, good to see him back out there as well. Also, you mentioned Greg. Why are the Dodgers running out an NBA front line between Glass now and like 6'10" dudes and stuff like that? I have no analysis other than that. That's all I got.
They're intimidating. Yeah, they're intimidating. You want those big dudes in there. I like this one in the chat. Epic Wolf. He says, "I wonder who is going to be Bergman's villain this season on the Dodgers. Conforto is gone, so he needs to find someone else." Well, first of all, thank goodness Conforto was gone. Didn't he get? I think he did. Wasn't it just a minor league contract?
Deal with the Cubs.
A minor league deal with the Cubs. He couldn't even get a big league deal. That's just wild to me. But either way, I don't know who it's going to be. I don't even have a front runner right now. Like Conforto last year at the beginning of the season, before the season even started, that was my front runner for it. I was like, that dude, I don't know why we signed him. This is going to be a joke. This guy stinks. Why did we sign him? And I don't have that guy this year. So I'll find one. It's not going to be right away. I need like a month of games, of regular season games to be like, okay, there's my villain. Here's my reverse jinx.
I mean, I don't know if it goes back to the beginning though, right? And this being a boring spring training and everybody just enjoying the ride. Like, what if there just isn't one this year? What if everything is cool until we get to October? That'd be interesting.
It would be. I don't know. But also, you mentioned earlier that Katie Wu was on with you, Jeff. Katie Wu is going to be on with us on Friday at 6:30. I don't know if that's going to be a weekly thing or if it's just for this Friday. But yeah, Katie Wu will be on with us as well.
Cool. Look forward to that. That should be a lot of fun. Jeff, before we get out of here, I mean, are you in Arizona for the duration? How much longer are you there? And what do you guys got cooking up down there?
I'm headed out today, actually. So we'll be in camp this morning, and then we'll be taking off. But head out to Dodger Blue 1958 on YouTube. So far, we've gotten about 8 interviews that we're going to be rolling out over the next few days. You mentioned Katie Wu, The Athletic. We're going to be posting an interview with her this morning. But then we've got a Blake Trinan interview that we did a couple of days ago. We talked to River Ryan, Alex Freeland, Kyle Hurt, Bobby Miller, Jack Dreyer, among others. We'll get some more interviews this morning. So check it out. Tons of good content over there. I was joking. We broke the news that Kyle Hurt is a full-time reliever. We broke the news that Bobby Miller is a full-time reliever. And I laughed that we also sort of broke the news that Nick Senzel actually signed a 2-year contract with the Dodgers last year and did re-sign with them. So all the major news that nobody else is giving you, Marcus, is coming on.
So go check them out.
That's what you get. You get the disappearance act from Jeff.
There it is. He literally just dropped the mic and then walked away. But definitely go check them out. Be sure to come and hang out with us because we are here now Monday through Friday for the duration. A little bit of self-promotion. You can catch me this afternoon with DeMarco and Travis from 3 to 6. So be sure to check that out as well. In the meantime, time for us to get out of here. Appreciate Parker, who's a short timer right now, but jumping in. We'll let him say his goodbyes when the time comes. In the meantime, stick around. Because the Sedano and Cap Morning Extravaganza kicking off in just a few minutes. Greg will be there with a cavalcade of stars. So in the meantime, for everybody else, for Jeff, for Parker, for Greg, I am Marcus. This has been a Blue Review presented by LAX. We are off and running. Glad to see everybody in the chat. We will talk to you all again tomorrow. That's it.